Hey there, Joseph Spada here, and in this video, I am going to go over the entire workshop as a recap, and we are going to focus on the most important takeaways, and I hope that's helpful to you. So, this was for the Advanced Adult Family Home Marketing Strategies, Magnetizing Success. So, we started by talking about the core challenge. Occupancy problems are not related to a lack of demand. The real issue is that there is a lack of proactive marketing. There is the fact that many people don't have a strategy, they don't take proactive action. They get a license and they think that the clients are just going to fall out of the sky onto their front porch, raise their hands, and say, I heard your license, I'd love to move in. It's not the case. There is a huge amount of noise in our industry because each provider only has a very small amount of clients, and we are almost 6,000 strong in the state of Washington. So, therefore, that level of noise makes it very difficult for people to find you specifically. That's why an effective strategy and continued proactive action will make all the difference. Also, it's really important to remember that scrambling and trying to do all kinds of things once you have vacancies, it's going to be really difficult to maintain occupancy on a full-time basis, if you will. In other words, if you start your marketing and outreach efforts once you already have the opening, it can take quite some time before you actually generate calls, schedule tours, and have people move in. What you're aiming for here is to have a pipeline of leads on a regular basis. If you're full and the lead can be on a wait list, that's how you maintain a really high occupancy, because as soon as you see the opening coming, for example, someone's on hospice, you know it's not going to last too long, you can go ahead and start reaching out to the folks on your wait list. If you don't have a wait list, that's fine too. But if at that point you're getting one or two even calls per week, that's enough to get your vacancy filled within 2, 3 weeks, maybe a month, as opposed to 3 months, 4 months, and some cases even longer than that. All right, so that's the main idea here. Let's move on to your success in marketing and in general for the adult family home to be profitable and to function in full occupancy as much as possible throughout the year. Number one is visibility. People have to see you. If you do not appear in front of your potential audience, many people don't even know you exist. That's the main problem. Number two, once they do see you and find you, you need to differentiate from the rest, and you need to position yourself so that you become really desirable and magnetic. So folks want to work with you. Thirdly, it is really crucial to understand your prospect's mindset. Because if you don't understand what somebody needs, wants, what their pain points are, it's very difficult to sell them any solution you may offer, right? So this is where it becomes challenging. You may be a great provider, but if your phone isn't ringing, it doesn't make any difference. Okay. And number four is you really need to be consistent in executing all four phases of your marketing, which we are coming to very shortly here. The next thing to understand in your mindset is that the bed supply versus the actual need, there is a still big gap. We reviewed all kinds of numbers from the Alzheimer's and cognitive decline perspective. And you can see that just in the state of Washington, there are over 140,000 people who have dementia. A number of them live in assisted living, a number of them live in adult family homes, and a number of them live at home being cared for by a spouse or a family member. We have 72,000 beds in the entire state of Washington. So the demand there is strong and is expected to continue. In fact, it will increase in the next 10 years on a steady pace. So there is no lack of potential client. Now, for those folks who are at home, we do have to remember that at some point, the family caregiver will get burned out. They're going to get tired, they're going to get overwhelmed, and at some point, they're going to need to reach for help. For those folks who are in assisted living facilities is a slightly different situation, but it ultimately probably the same outcome because for those folks in assisted living facilities, there are two choices. Either they move to a memory care unit, which we all know is not a wonderful place to be. Large facility, institutional, lots and lots of people, lights on 24/7, caregivers turnover all day, all night, every single day. Very difficult environment to be in. Plus, it's very expensive. So that's one option. The other option is for them to be with you, which is infinitely better for them, for the family members, and for you as well, relative to your occupancy. Beyond the numbers we reviewed for dementia, and again, remember, these are just the numbers for dementia, but we have other segments of people, other populations that also are in addition to the numbers with dementia. We have traumatic brain injury crowd. We have developmental disabilities crowd. We have private duty nursing. If you are a nurse and you want to specialize in nursing care in your adult family home, PDN is the way to go. Great reimbursement rates, very few offering in that type of specialty, great positioning. You have people with strokes. Hospice can be its own specialty, although, as you know, in our world, we have a lot of people who are uh, with us for some time and then they go on hospice. And so, therefore, they may be part of your uh, current occupancy. But nonetheless, it can also be a specialty of its own. We have people with complex behaviors and any other populations you may be aware of that are just simply not mentioned here. But these are in addition to people who have dementia and cognitive decline. Okay, so the bottom line is the demand is strong and is going to continue long term. Next topic, market research. We need to remember we are not operating in a vacuum. We have nearly 6,000 other adult family homes in the state of Washington. Just about anywhere you are, there is going to be a number of other adult family homes who are competing for the same clients. And again, what's going to make a difference now is to be visible and to differentiate, to stand out from the crowd so you don't sound and appear like a commodity like everyone else, where now people just are worried about shopping for price. So, in terms of doing some market research, you want to know as much as possible in a small radius. We're talking 3, 4 miles, maybe 5 at the most. Okay. People don't like to travel very far just to see mom and dad after work. So, most of your clients are going to be very local to you. And what you want to do here is you want to figure out who is where, what do they offer, and we have the adult family homes, we have assisted living, rehab centers, nursing home, hospitals. You want to find out as much as possible about your local market. And what you aim to know is who they are, what they offer, what they charge if you can, um, how they position themselves. Do they have a specialty? Um, what's the appeal of the facility itself? Adult family home or assisted living? We already know assisted living, they pretty much go for the $1 million look. But when it comes to providing care, that's an example of a gap. There is no great care. Few staff, high turnover, 3 shifts a day. And so that is a pain point for people. And that's an example of a gap where you can offer something a lot better, a lot more consistent, and of much greater quality when it comes to the patient care, to get to know them, embrace them for who they are, etc. All right, so your goal again here is to really identify as much as possible, try to answer as many questions as you can about the things we just spoke about. Drive by, look at their website. If you can't find out the price, try to find out the price. All of that information helps you position yourself slightly differently and in a stronger fashion so that you become really attractive to them. Okay, so positioning opportunities here is what we are talking about. Next, we are having the broad overview. What is marketing? Essentially, the simple way to look at marketing is everything you need to do to get paying customers for your business. All right. So now one of the most important thing is to understand your avatar, the people you're looking for. You really need to know them, what they like, dislike, etc. We're going to cover that in a bit. But essentially, understanding your prospective customer is really important. Remember, it's not just the resident, it's not just their family member or their POA, but there are other categories of avatar, which we will cover in more details in just a minute. But essentially, for example, a referral agent may be one of your customer avatar because you need to appeal to them as they can provide a source of referrals to you. All right. So, understanding the customer avatar, making sure that your messaging is compelling, attractive, sets you apart from the others. So, copywriting, creating great print materials, including your programs, your care programs, networking with other people in various areas of the long-term care continuum, building relationship with them. And remember that two-way relationships are the most powerful. It may involve advertising. There is all kinds of places you can advertise. We talked about some of them during the workshop. Uh, Print advertisement, Google ads, maybe Facebook ads as well. Recently, we have been on a radio for a long time. That was an incredible run to be on Cairo News for about 4 or 5 weeks, I think 5 weeks maybe. We got a ton of exposure. Hundreds of thousands of people heard Oana Holly Senior Living of Bellevue. We are also in a local grocery store now at the Fred Meyer in Bellevue. We have advertisement on the shopping carts. So there is many places where you can advertise. And also very important is to build a listing of people that you can reach out to them. So all of these type of things are part of what it takes to do marketing. And of course, touring and tours that convert more visitors into customers. So it involves that too, show and tell. So all of these various aspects are part of your marketing. Now let's talk about those marketing phases we discussed a moment ago. Essentially, there are four main phases to your marketing, and focusing on each one of them before you move to the next one is really important. Some of them do blend a little bit, but this also helps you diagnose when something is not working correctly, which phase of your marketing you might need to put more attention and more effort and more focus on, so that when you improve the phase prior, then the next phase will be improved as well. So, number one, build your foundation. That includes all kinds of things. For example, you want to have a really nice website on your own domain, um, you know, whatever adult family home in whatever area you are, or a nice business name that is easy for people to remember, .com. Okay, so your own website, and it's very important there that the marketing copy or the copy and the messaging is clear, simple, and at the same time very compelling, because you remember that the attention span for most people is 7 seconds. And on a website, it's usually probably less than that. If they cannot see immediately when the web page opens, what is it that you do and you provide, and whatever it is they read stops them long enough, perhaps a question, perhaps a statement, stops them long enough to decide to read further, so that they stay on your website and they read. So this is going to be very important. And to that end, you want to make sure that you not only list just the features. For example, I'm a CNA, I'm an RN, we have a roll-in shower, we do medication management. These are the features. But you want to say those features, but you want to quickly move to benefit and clear outcomes. So we have this feature, and here's why it's important. This is what it means to you. Here's why you should care. And the outcome is what you're going to get ultimately: the peace of mind, the quality of life, quality of engagement, meaningful engagement in activities, better health tracking and management, more prompt interventions when there is an issue, a customized care plan, which allows your mom to be cared for and to engage in ways and to receive care in ways that are most important to her and that will benefit her the greatest. So, the messaging, don't just talk about feature, but also add the benefits and clear outcomes. All right. Again, on your foundation, we move on to making sure that you have a really good business listing. You probably want to build a really nice LinkedIn profile. You want to list on other websites, and a list of websites that are suggested are in the additional materials you received on your drive. And you can then do more research on additional websites you can list on, remembering the keys we talked about. Make sure that the price, first of all, is affordable, because you want to be listed on as many websites as possible so that you are as visible as possible. And make sure that your name, phone number, and contact information is your information that will show up on that listing, not the website owners, or else it will be completely useless. When it comes to listing on other website, also remember, typically you will receive less than one call per year. So now it becomes a question of number. The more websites you're listed on, the higher the chances that you'll get at least one phone call. If you're listed in 5 websites, you may get one phone call a year. If you're listed on 10 websites, you may get two. But again, that's a question of number. And while this isn't the greatest way to generate leads, it will strengthen your online presence, because your name will appear again and again and again on multiple websites, so your presence is stronger. Build your care programs. Build quality and valuable care programs. I gave you the formula on how to design, build, and pitch them. So this is also really important, because on the slide before this one, when we talked about printing quality material, write down your care program and then print it on a nice, professionally designed and printed page. And now when you have various programs, for example, life enrichment program, health maintenance program, fall prevention program, you can put all of those into a very nice binder. And when somebody comes to visit your home, send them home with that package. So this is going to be great. Also, make sure you work on your personal story and your why. Your personal story can be really compelling when it comes to creating depth in the connection with your prospective customer. When they know your motivation, it can be very inspiring to them. And so that is really important, as well as your why. What led you to do what you're doing? And again, in the uh, USB drive, I walk you through uh, coming up with your personal story and make sure you clarify your why. Okay, so spend some time thinking about the why. And the why you're doing this should be, this is what I was doing, this is the problem I witnessed, and I built this adult family home to solve that problem. This is why I did it. Because something related to the elderly and or to the problems that you witnessed in caring for the elderly in other situations, in other settings. And it can be anything literally, but as long as it feels very personal and compelling, so that when you share that with a family member, they will remember it. And frankly, they're a lot more likely to share, your personal story and your why more they are than to share your features. Your features is going to be like, I met this provider today. He came from Italy, grew up in Switzerland, and this was his story. They're going to repeat that story. And then they're going to say, and in addition to that, they got this beautiful house and they do this and they do that. And then they get down to all the features we offer, So now, but it starts with them remembering about you because you stood out in some way. All right. So you're going to do all of this. Make sure you are prepared. You can do Q&A as well in your foundation. For example, I have like a 17-page Q&A. Literally, when they go home, they have all kinds of reading, but it's easy to read. It's informative. And the Q&A is focused on how we do the admissions, how we do the pricing model, how we do the care programs, how we do the fall preventions. And it really goes with question and answer, literally. What is the time frame for moving? How much time does it take from the time we decide to move in with you to the time you can actually admit my mom? What happens with visitations? Can we come and visit when we are available, or are there restrictions to that? What about the furnishing? So they have all these questions. Well, you can address them in a Q&A. So when they are done reading this, uh, at home later, they're going to go like, really all their questions are going to be answered, and they're going to go like, wow, this is really a great place. These people are taking time to do things well. They're explaining things really well. I mean, they're going to feel really supported in their decision and in their process of finding good care for somebody they love. Next, lead generation. So, of course, the first part is going to go a long way in helping you generate leads. But specifically, to help get your phone to ring more, use your website. On your website, you can offer valuable material or information that is helpful to your prospective customers or to your website visitors. Now, you want to be, don't have these pop ups that are super annoying that as soon as you land on a page, this big pop up gets in the way. Make it a little more discreet. But this is a great way to offer something whereby a person can give you their first name and email address. Well, that's enough for you to put them in an autoresponder and then stay in communication with them. You can write an autoresponder sequence all in one go. Thank you so much for requesting whatever item you gave them. One example is 30 questions you should ask when you tour any long-term care facility that most people never think of. And so I give them those questions. So I hope that these questions were helpful to you. Um, Thanks for asking them. Thanks for taking the time to check out our website. I'll reach out and check in with you in a few days from now. Boom. A few days later, you send them another, hey, did you get a chance to take a look at those questions? Was that helpful to you? And by the way, if I can help any further, don't hesitate to call. I'm always available to help folks such as yourself. It's part of what I do. So don't be shy and reach out anytime. All right, so you get the idea, okay? So you can go ahead and do that. Now, the manual list building with your contact, this is probably going to be one of the most effective tool you can have to generate leads. So this is going to be a list of name, emails, of contacts that you know. Social workers, elder law attorneys, geriatric care managers, um, past and previous family members, friends, nurses you know from other sources, uh, basically anybody who could be a source of referrals. Build a list with them and then send regular updates. These updates can be about anything. I remodeled this bathroom. We have a celebration coming up. If you are available to show up, we'd love to see you. It's been a while. We're celebrating a 100th birthday for one of our dear residents, so and so, and we're gonna have a nice outdoor, ice cream social birthday celebration type thing. Or next Saturday afternoon between 1 and 2:30 p.m., we're doing a first aid or CPR class. We have somebody coming here and they're giving everybody a discount. If you want to show up, send me an email or reply or whatever, and it's a great way. I mean, you can, literally, you know, the skies is the limit here. It doesn't matter as much what you say in those emails. I mean, it's really important to have it be light, kind of fun, not too long, provide something that's helpful to them, either a story, maybe some research you came across, maybe some development in the long-term care field, just some general type things. I mean, some people put recipes. I'm not a big fan of that, but that's an option. Um, so really the idea is to be in front of them regularly. Now you don't want to overwhelm them with it because otherwise they're going to get burned out on it and they're going to probably hit delete or unsubscribe. But if these are good, strong people who know you, like you, trust you, they'll read it. um, so if you send every 3 weeks, maybe that's a great time. Maybe once a month is a great time. As long as you're consistent, that's what matters. Okay. Idea can be type of small mini newsletter kind of a thing. That's a wonderful way to reach out to your list. Uh, that is probably my biggest source of leads. Works really, really well. Okay. There's another thing here. Yeah, work on the list, okay? Really, really important. Ads are great. As I mentioned earlier, Google ads are great. They can cost quite a bit, but you can also be specific with your budget. So you can say, I only want to spend, $5 a day. And Google will work things out so it shows your listing or your ad only when you're within your budget and to the right target audience. So Google listing is a great way to go. A radio ad, as I mentioned, we had two slots. One was 15 seconds and the other one was 30 seconds. Believe it or not, 15 seconds was enough to say the core message and have hundreds of thousands of people hear it. I think about 5 weeks in a row, maybe it was 6 weeks, I don't remember exactly, 5 or 6 weeks in a row. And then the 30 seconds was more comprehensive. And you can go a minute if you want, but of course the price goes up pretty quickly. We saw our website stats totally skyrocket. I mean, uh, the monthly visits to the site, quadrupled literally. So lots and lots of people heard it. In fact, there was other people from the industry. I didn't realize you were on a radio. I heard your radio and your radio ad, and oh my God, it sounded so great. We just a lot of people heard it. So in the right places. Local store, I also mentioned that we are at our local grocery store. And depending on which location you are, you kind of have to be selective as to where, because if you're in an area where people who shop there um, don't have the means, then, maybe it's not the best. But well, in Bellevue, there is plenty of people there that have the ability to pay for care. Publications, anyway, lots and lots of places. You can get creative, okay? But the point is, put some ads there. Now, the ads are, they can be effective, but again, not necessarily that effective. So you kind of have to gauge, try something, try to do something that's affordable and that gets a lot of exposure and see the kind of results you get. Okay, so make sure you track is the point here. But try to be everywhere your prospects are. at the gym, at the grocery store, on the radio where they listen, on the groups that they visit, on LinkedIn for professionals. Then again, on Facebook, not the adult family home groups. There is no customers there. This is for other providers. But there are many other groups, groups for Alzheimer's disease and things like that. These are much better groups for you to be in. All right. So that generate leads.